मेरे साथी यूट्यूबर्स, मेरा ये चैनल सब्सक्राइब करें और मेरे हर अपडेट आपको मिले, इसके लिए बेल आइकन जरूर दबाइएगा। आप सभी को मेरी ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं।
Astrophysicists have been breaking their skulls on the three-body problem for years now. The result? Zero solutions. What's the three-body problem, you ask? So basically, take three planets, put them in empty space, tell them to orbit each other, and watch every mathematical equation thereon turn into Maggi noodles. Not one single Maika Lal will be able to predict where those balls of rock will be tomorrow. This is the three-body problem in physics. Now swap the planets for auto rickshaws, gravity for CNG, and space for a typical Indian intersection. Same chaos, more swear words. This is what I call the three-wheel problem. They say happiness comes on four wheels. On two wheels comes thrill. But on three wheels comes death. The death of civility, the death of accountability, and in some cases, the death of physics itself. Let's start with cars. Chaos as a service. Step outside any Indian railway station at rush hour, a neon yellow swarm lunges at you, engines coughing like 90-year-old smokers. That swarm moves with the elegance of cats on Red Bull, cracking gaps that don't exist, braking without warning, ping-ponging across lanes, and honking Morse code nobody understands. There are roughly 2.4 million electric rickshaws and a few more million CNG or petrol ones. Together they crank out an estimated 60 million rides every single day.
Shinji, crank that, soldier boy.
Pune alone claims over 1 lakh autos. Bhubaneswar claims 30,000 and Delhi's registry gave up counting years ago. But how did we end up here? Blame a mid-century innovation when someone in Japan stuck a scooter engine behind a bicycle seat and yelled Eureka. Cheap, nimble, unstoppable. Perfect jugaad for clogged cities. By the 1960s, Bajaj Auto made them indestructible enough to survive potholes big enough to hide small children. The price gap between a bus ticket and a taxi fare carved out a juicy middle market, and the auto rickshaw army marched in like the Red Army at the Battle of Stalingrad. Today, this thing is the de facto last mile solution for every office goer, student, tourist, and grandma lugging 3 bags of groceries. But convenience comes with body slams to civic order. Autos overtake from the left, the right, sometimes even from a metaphysical fourth dimension. They stop exactly where queuing logic says you shouldn't, and they treat red lights like Blinkist Valentine's Day suggestions for singles. Sweet, but optional. They see pedestrians as moving traffic cones and cars as free airbags for their tin can. And overloading? Legally, it's 3 passengers. But in practice, the record stands at 8 humans plus a baby goat in one battered Piaggio. Every tiny space means extra rupees, so physics can go cry in the corner while rare leaf springs scream for mercy. Yet, despite the insanity, people pile in. Why? Because walking in 45 degrees heat hurts. City buses resemble sardine tins and cabs cost Netflix subscription money. An auto gives door-to-door service for loose change. In other words, chaos is not a bug, it's a thriving part of the business model. Now safety. Have you heard of her? Me neither. Picture a vehicle with one skinny front tire, a top-heavy cabin, 0 airbags, no crumple zones, and canvas doors that flap like cheap curtains. Congratulations, you've met the Indian auto rickshaw. On paper, it should tip over at the first speed breaker. But then again, we're talking about something that operates outside the laws of physics and therefore outside the realm of human understanding. Speaking about crashes, traffic cops admit that autos trigger around 1 in 10 urban accidents in many major cities. But they also admit that many of these crashes go unreported because victims settle on the spot for a couple of purple notes and a half-hearted apology.
Thanks! Love you!
And for those saying rickshaws are technically safe because they are driven in city and in city your speed is very slow, brother. If you live in a tier 1 city, just step outside at 6 a.m. and see how fast they drive these wobbly capsules in near empty roads with 10 school-going kids inside. Recently, local news in Vizag reported 6 children squeezed into a 3-seater. The driver clipped a pole, The rickshaw performed a not so graceful somersault and kids spilled out like beans out of a tin can. All in under 5 seconds. Luckily, no one died. But what about these drivers who wake up every day and assume luck is a safety feature? And what about the times when physics decides to turn off this safety feature momentarily? NCAP ratings? More like NCAP ratings.
You gotta kill yourself.
Let's be real. Autos have no official crash test rating. Europe gave the Bajaj Cute quadricycle 1 cute star. An open-sided tuk-tuk would struggle to even earn that 1 sympathy star. Now let's talk about the unions, the so-called auto mafias. Associations that defend driver rights with the tenderness of a Canadian ice hockey brawl. Oh, did you complain about overcharging? Watch 5 more drivers manifest around you in real time, each more foul-mouthed than the last one. Try launching an app-based bike or taxi service and unions shut down half the city, vandalizing rivals while cops sip chai and practice selective blindness. Recently in Pune, 3,000 drivers from 16 unions blocked important roads in protest against illegal competition. Ironic, since more than half of them probably operate without valid permits. And training programs? They do exist, but only on paper. On the street, a cousin teaches you clutch control in 15 minutes and you're hired. RTO also loves the informal chaos because each missing document is a bribe opportunity. Overloading, reckless cornering, sudden U-turns, these are symptoms. The disease is zero accountability. When enforcement shows up as frequently as the Halley's Comet, drivers vanish into side alleys. Impounded autos reappear the next week with a fresh coat of paint and a new registration sticker printed in someone's backyard. Meanwhile, passengers hold on for dear life, praying that the lead-acid battery under their seat doesn't decide to barbecue them mid-ride. Every journey is a low-budget roller coaster. No seatbelts, no safety bars, no doors. Just the promise that if you survive, you'll only pay 20 rupees. Thrill seekers pay thousands for adventure parks. India gives you the experience for spare change. Now, for all the honking chaos, India cannot function without these three-wheel headaches. Autos move millions where metros don't reach, where buses can't squeeze, and where ride-sharing surge prices break wallets. They create livelihoods for migrants with no degrees and no networks. A driver's license, a rented rickshaw, and 1 packet of vimal are enough to join the workforce. The sector is worth thousands of crores, an underground economy painted in yellow and green. Politicians know this.
Hey, सफेद कपड़ा, oh!
Clamp down too hard and you anger a voting bloc with megaphones for horns. That is why regulations flip-flop. 1 month city councils ban autos from business districts. The next month bans melt under union pressure. Delhi forced CNG conversion in 1998 to fight smog. Good move, but enforcement stalled when bribes outpaced pollution fines. GPS trackers became mandatory in 2012. A decade later, compliance limps below 50%. Electric rickshaws look like the green messiah. Instead, they multiplied like rabbits on caffeine.
Shield me from the law! Yes, sir!
Licensing couldn't keep up. So half the fleet runs illegitimately, charging overnight from state power company wires that make neighborhood transformers smoke like hookahs. Still, commuters choose them because they're silent, cheap, and show up faster than app taxis. Can we replace autos with shiny minibuses? Maybe in theory. In reality, minibuses can't take a U-turn inside gullies or wait outside barbershops. Autos specialize in doorstep agility. Ban them outright and watch unemployment stats spike while streets are choked with private bikes. The three-wheel problem is not just physics. It's economics, sociology, and political cowardice rolled into one sputtering cylinder. So what now? A sane world would demand stricter driver training, digital permits, designated stands, dynamic pricing, and actual crash tests. Maybe throw in incentives to upgrade to safer four-wheeler microcars. But every solution costs money, time, and most importantly, willpower. Until someone finds that willpower, we're stuck with Darwinian traffic where it's the survival of the horniest. I mean, the ones who honk the most. The next time an auto cuts you off, remember the paradox. You hate the beast, yet you'll probably ride one tomorrow. You'll haggle over 10 rupees, roll your eyes at the detour, and still mumble, "Arey bhaiya, seedha chalao na," because walking sucks. In the cosmic ballet of Indian roads, Rickshaws are the rogue planet nobody can eject. They bend traffic around themselves, distort civic gravity, and keep the city spinning whether we like it or not. 3 wheels, infinite headaches, 0 easy answers. That's our everyday version of unsolved physics. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. And while you're here, please take a look at our other channel for more serious and in-depth content. See you in the next video.
I don't understand a thing in this game, bro. This game has done nothing but just confuse me, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand what's going on.